This is Art Television.
Coming up, State of Business, sponsored by...
Stay well connected at home or on the go with SLT Mobitel.
IWS Aviation.
Good evening and welcome to the State of Business on Art Television. I am Chavika Samarasinghe. Let's have a look at the headlines. Litro announces resolution for domestic gas queues. Government commences distribution of Indian fertilizer. News in detail. State-owned Litro Gas Lanka Limited announces that the long queues for domestic gas will be sorted by the end of the month. The Litro Gas Company commenced distribution of domestic gas yesterday after a period of interruption due to the country's inability to import stocks. The new shipment of Litro gas also comes with a price hike of 50 rupees per cylinder of 12.5 kilograms. Litro Gas chairman Mudita Piris urged the public not to buy from the black market, as Litro had made arrangements to procure 33,000 metric tons of gas till the end of July. He also stressed that 100,000 metric tons of gas will also be available to the country by the end of October this year. Litro chairman Piris said that a shipment of 3,200 metric tons was due this Saturday, and a ship carrying 20,000 metric tons was currently nearing the Maldives Sea. Litro will also be releasing gas to the Kerawalapitia gas terminal from 4 ships starting July 20th. Sri Lanka's gas shortage has forced many people to turn to firewood or kerosene stoves. In June, Litro officials urged the public not to queue for gas due to lack of supply. At present, officials have instructed the public to produce their electricity bills for the month of May when buying gas in a bid to reduce hoarding. The country's lack of dollars and downgraded ratings have made it difficult to ensure a steady supply of cooking gas and fuel. The Producer Price Index for all economic activities, agriculture, manufacturing, and electricity, gas, steam and air conditioning supply and water supply for the month of May 2022 is 216.5. The annual change in the PPI has been compiled as 75.9%. The PPI reported for the economic activities of manufacturing, agriculture and utility sector are 224, 203 and 100.7 respectively. The sectors of manufacturing and agriculture reported positive changes of 83.5% and 56.2%, while the utility sector reported negative change of 2.5% on an annual basis. In the agriculture sector, the sub-activities of growing non-perennial crops, animal production, and growing of perennial crops reported positive changes of 89%, 68.5% and 37.1% respectively on an annual basis. The sub-activities of the manufacturing sector reported positive growth rates in the month of May 2022 compared to the same month in 2021. Of the sub-activities in the utilities sector, water collection, treatment and supply reported a positive change of 1.9% on an annual basis, while electricity, gas, steam and air conditioning supply reported a negative change of 3.4% in the month of May 2022 compared to the same month in 2021. Comparing the month-on-month changes, PPI in May 2022 has increased to 216.5 from 190.7 reported in April 2022. This shows an increase of 25.8 index points or 13.5% compared to April 2022. The economic activities of manufacturing and agriculture reported positive changes of 17.3% and 3.3%. While electricity, gas, steam and air conditioning supply and water supply reported negative changes of 2.3% on a monthly basis. The sub-activities of the agriculture sector, growing of perennial crops, growing of non-perennial crops, and animal production reported positive changes of 16.5%, 14.4% and 8.2% respectively in the month of May 2022. The sub-activities of the manufacturing sector reported positive changes on a monthly basis. The sub-activities of the utility sector, electricity, gas, steam and air conditioning supply, and water collection, treatment and supply reported a positive change of 0.5% and 0.2% respectively on a monthly basis in the month of May 2022. The secondary bond market was at a standstill during the week ending 8th July as weekly Treasury bill auction rates skyrocketed. This continues a steep upward trend witnessed in primary market rates during the previous week, reports Wealth Trust Research. In limited trades, persistent selling interest prior to the weekly bill auction saw the liquid maturity of 1st June 2025 change hands within the range of 25 to 25.25 against its previous week's closing level of 24 to 50. However, activity came to a standstill following the auction results, where weighted average rates on all three maturities increased by a minimum of 400 basis points to exceed 28%, a level not witnessed over the past 25 years. This led to an upward shift in the overall yield curve, due to two-way quotes on the rest of the yield curve increasing. Nevertheless, the Central Bank of Sri Lanka increased its policy rates by only 100 basis points at its fifth review meeting, which followed the weekly bill auction, reactivating the secondary bill market. The latest 182-day and 364-day maturities were traded at highs of 30%, while the full quota of 17.5 billion rupees offered during phase 2 of the auction was fully taken up. Meanwhile, Treasury bond auctions yesterday saw a total volume of 70 billion rupees on offer, consisting of 30 billion rupees of a 1st June 2025 maturity and 40 billion rupees of a new 15th July 2029 maturity. A seventh consecutive week of foreign inflows to the rupee bond market saw holdings increase by a further 773.22 million rupees for the week ending 6 July 2022. The daily secondary market, Treasury bond or bill transacted volumes for the first 3 trading days of the week averaged 8.11 billion rupees. Stay tuned. We will return after this commercial break.
More data when you stay and use more. Data bow one, data bow one. More data with low latency. Data bow one, data bow one. Take it anywhere with SLT Go. Data bow one, data bow one.
A non-stop journey with Data Bow One from SLT Mobitel Home Broadband.
Welcome back. The government last week pledged that paddy farmers will be provided fertilizer for 10,000 rupees, while the global market is selling it for 40,000 rupees. Accordingly, the Ministry of Agriculture commenced the distribution of urea supplied by the Government of India this morning. Agriculture Ministry sources said that the consignment which reached Sri Lanka on the 9th of this month was unloaded on the 10th, and a quality inspection was conducted yesterday. Ministry officials said that during the inspection, the urea held a burette level of 0.9, which is suitable for cultivation and of appropriate quality. A trade certificate was issued following the inspection. The 40,000 metric tons of urea came from Oman under the Indian credit line. Another 25,000 metric tons is expected to reach the country in the near future and will be distributed to farmers, the officials said. Cabinet approval has been given to sell the consignment of urea to rice cultivators island-wide at 10,000 rupees per 50 kilograms. Former Agriculture and Wildlife Minister Mahinda Amaraveera had claimed Sri Lanka could reach self-sufficiency in rice by the next Maha season and prevent imports from India and Myanmar. Amaraveera said that rice production had fallen by up to 40% in the last Maha cultivation season, that ended in February this year. Sri Lanka's rice production has dropped sharply since President Gotabaya Rajapaksa banned chemical fertilizers in April last year. Before the ban, the government had been providing a 50 kilogram bag of fertilizer at 350 rupees. However, increased global prices and nearly 80% depreciation in the rupee against the US dollar have increased the import price of fertilizer. The Parliamentary Committee on Public Enterprises has postponed the appearance of the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation and the Public Utilities Commission, which was scheduled to appear today. Due to the personal statement made by the chairman of the Public Utilities Commission of Sri Lanka during the last COPE inquiry, the chairpersons of the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation, Ceylon Petroleum Storage Terminal Limited and Public Utilities Commission were due to appear before the COPE regarding the fuel price in Sri Lanka. However, last Friday's COPE meeting suggested that the PUCS's administrative structure be brought under scrutiny.
Technically, we are really happy the way that you have presented. But at the same time, there are huge issues within the administration structure. And there are lapses and some mismanagement, some things which we can't even explain yet. We also need the Auditor General to go through and submit a special report on that particular issue. And also we need to look at the structure, administrative structure should be revised and reformed according to the suggestions that we have made.
We really have to dig down deep and figure out once and for all, right, where this fact is, where the corruption, where the inefficiency is.
But now there are two things. One, that we are now dealing with them, but we need to get CEB.
But they have to be empowered to do that.
No, they have taken their decision and they have informed. So right, no.
No, our problem is our problem is now may act there's a very clear word called reasonableness. The cost reflectivity is subjected to reasonableness. You have to prove the reasonableness of the tariff. The burden is on CEB.
Have they done that?
No, this is the problem. There is a clear legal issue here. So
then you can write back them.
We have done it.
Okay.
Last 2 months we have written them about 5-6 times.
But if you think that we need to get CEB, CPC and yourself together, that also we could do. Then they could decide according to them.
That's an internal matter. No?
Okay, you are regulator and they are service providers and regulators have to meet together and to decide. And we are oversight committee who are looking at the issue, how you are performing.
The Committee on Public Accounts, which met last week, asserted that the purchase of spare parts, including tyres for Sri Lanka Transport Board buses, is in a problematic situation in the current competitive market due to the increase in prices. This was revealed when the committee met under the chairmanship of MP Tissa Vitharanam. They examined the plans developed under the Ministry of Transport and Highways to provide efficient transport services to the general public under the current economic crisis in Sri Lanka. Officials of the Ministry of Transport and Highways explained to the committee about the future plans of the ministry and pointed out that due to rising prices, it has become problematic to buy spare parts for buses in today's competitive market. CTB officials said that there have been problems, especially in making purchases after calling for tenders. They also said that even though the public transport service should be further developed, it has become a problematic situation for a public institution to buy equipment at the current prices and generate profit. Also, there was a discussion about the delayed importation of railway compartments that were planned to be imported to Sri Lanka under Indian loan subsidies in the year 2017. COPA members questioned the officials about the non-use of 103 out of 160 railway compartments purchased. Accordingly, the officials said that the vacuum brake system is in operation in the country and that these train compartments are of the air brake system. The committee also discussed providing diesel to private buses through filling stations belonging to SLTP depots. The officials pointed out that some of the private buses are getting diesel from the fueling stations and selling it at higher prices. Accordingly, the committee pointed out that this situation should be controlled and that the public should not be inconvenienced. They also suggested that a system should be developed to check whether the buses that pump fuel from the depot filling stations are running. Stay tuned for stock updates.
Grappling with subjects. Expressing feelings.
I am not very creative yet, but I would love to be considered an artist one day.
Looking for new perspectives.
You want to help not with weapons, but with your camera.
Doing things differently. Come to the place where we reflect on society. Arts 21 on DW.
Trading at the Colombo Stock Exchange ended on positive notes today. The all-share price index gained 63.52 points to close at 7,365.67, and the S&P SL20 gained 27.55 points to close at 2,365.22. The turnover was 1.1 billion rupees and over 56 million shares were traded. Up next are forex rates. That's all our news for today. Take care and good night.
State of Business was sponsored by
Stay well connected at home or on the go with SLT Mobitel.